Welcome back to Washington Quarter 1965 $1.9 million dollar coins. Have you ever imagined that a single quarter sitting unnoticed in your pocket, an old coin jar, or even your kitchen drawer could secretly be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars? It sounds impossible, but this is exactly why millions of collectors search through everyday change. Some of the most valuable coins in America don't look rare at all. In fact, many people spend them without giving them a second glance. One particular quarter has become famous because it marked a major turning point in U.S. coin history, and hidden among millions of ordinary examples are a few extraordinary pieces that collectors dream of finding. The difference between a common coin and a valuable one can be as small as a tiny minting mistake, an unusual strike, or an exceptional condition. $1.9 million today, we're taking a close look at one of the most fascinating quarters ever produced. By the end of this video, you'll understand why collectors pay so much attention to this coin, what makes certain examples incredibly valuable, which rare errors you should search for, and how you might recognize one before it disappears back into circulation. So before you spend another quarter, stay with me until the very end, because the coin you already own could be worth far more than 25 cents. 1965 Washington Quarter. The 1965 Washington Quarter holds a very special place in American coin history. It was the first regular issue Washington Quarter struck after one of the biggest changes the United States Mint had ever made. Before 1965, Washington Quarters were produced using 90% silver, making them valuable not only to collectors but also for their precious metal content. However, as silver prices continued to rise during the early 1960s, people began saving silver coins instead of spending them. This created a nationwide coin shortage that forced the U.S. Mint to make a historic decision. Beginning in 1965, the silver Washington Quarter was replaced with a copper-nickel clad version. Instead of being made almost entirely from silver, the new coin featured a pure copper core sandwiched between two outer layers of copper and nickel. This new composition allowed the mint to produce coins more economically while keeping enough quarters in circulation for everyday commerce. Because of this historic transition, the 1965 Washington Quarter became one of the most significant coins of the 20th century. Another interesting fact about the 1965 quarter is that no mint marks appeared on regular circulation coins during that year. The United States Mint intentionally removed mint marks from coins struck between 1965 and 1967 in an effort to discourage collectors from pulling newly minted coins out of circulation. As a result, whether a 1965 quarter was produced in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it carries no mint mark. This often surprises new collectors who expect every coin to display one. More than 1.8 billion Washington Quarters were produced in 1965, making it one of the highest mintage quarters in American history. Because so many were struck, the vast majority remain worth only their face value if they have seen years of circulation. Millions still exist today, worn from decades of use in cash registers, vending machines, parking meters, and everyday purchases. Although the average circulated example is common, collectors know that condition changes everything. Coins that somehow escaped circulation and retained their original mint luster are much scarcer than most people realize. These uncirculated examples display bright surfaces, crisp details, and sharp edges that make them far more desirable than worn coins. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC evaluate coins using the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1 to 70. Most circulated 1965 quarters receive low grades and have little premium value. However, coins graded MS66, MS67, or even higher become increasingly difficult to find. At the highest certified grades, where nearly flawless surfaces combine with exceptional eye appeal, auction prices can reach several $1,000s because so few examples have survived in such outstanding condition. One of the biggest reasons collectors carefully inspect every 1965 quarter is the possibility of discovering valuable mint errors. Since billions were struck, Even a tiny percentage of production mistakes created fascinating collectible coins. One popular error is the double die variety. A true double die occurs during the creation of the working die itself, causing parts of the design, lettering, or date to appear doubled. Genuine double dies are much rarer than ordinary machine doubling and can command significant premiums depending on how dramatic the doubling appears. Off-center strikes are another exciting possibility. During production, if the coin blank is not perfectly centered beneath the dies, only part of the design is struck. Some off-center coins show 10% displacement, while others may be 30% or even 50% off-center. As long as the date remains visible, these dramatic errors are highly collectible and often sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Another valuable error is the broad strike. Normally, a retaining collar surrounds the coin during striking, giving it its proper diameter and raised rim. If the collar is missing or fails to function correctly, the coin spreads outward, producing a larger than normal quarter with weak or missing rims. Collectors also search for clipped planchet errors. Before striking, round coin blanks are punched from large sheets of metal. Occasionally, the punching process overlaps, leaving a curved piece missing from the blank. When struck, the finished quarter displays this distinctive curved clip, creating an instantly recognizable mint error. Die cracks and die breaks also attract collector interest. As minting dies wear over time, they can develop cracks that transfer onto coins as raised lines. Large die breaks may even create dramatic raised areas known as clads, where part of the die has broken away completely. These unusual features make individual coins unique. One of the rarest discoveries would be a quarter struck on the wrong planchet. Although extremely uncommon, some quarters have accidentally been struck on blanks intended for other denominations or even foreign coins. These spectacular mint mistakes are among the most valuable error coins because of their rarity and unusual appearance. Perhaps the most famous possibility involving the 1965 Washington quarter is the accidental use of leftover silver plancase from 1964. During the transition from silver to clad coinage, a very small number of 90% silver quarter blanks reportedly remained in the production system. If a 1965 quarter design was struck on one of those leftover silver plancase, the result became one of the most desirable transitional errors in modern American coinage. These rare silver transition quarters are considerably lighter in color and lack the visible copper stripe normally seen on the edge of a clad coin. They also weigh approximately 6.25 grams instead of the standard 5.67 grams used for clad quarters. Authentic examples have sold for several $1,000s at auction, with exceptional certified specimens bringing even higher prices because of their historical importance and extreme rarity. Checking the edge of your 1965 quarter is one of the quickest ways to begin evaluating it. A normal clad coin clearly reveals a copper-colored stripe along the edge. If your coin appears completely silver on the edge without any visible copper layer, it deserves closer examination. However, collectors should remember that only professional testing and authentication can confirm whether a coin is a genuine silver transitional error. Many people unknowingly reduce the value of old coins by cleaning them. A shiny appearance may seem attractive, but experienced collectors and grading companies usually recognize cleaned surfaces immediately. Hairline scratches, altered luster, and unnatural brightness often lower a coin's value significantly. If you believe your 1965 quarter may be valuable, it is almost always better to leave it exactly as you found it. Proper storage also plays an important role in preserving value. Coins stored in protective holders or capsules remain in far better condition than those tossed into jars, drawers, or pockets where scratches and damage accumulate over time. Today, the 1965 Washington quarter remains one of the most searched modern American coins because it combines historic significance, fascinating mint errors, and the possibility of discovering a rare silver transitional strike. While most examples are worth only 25 cents, a tiny number have become prized treasures that collectors eagerly pursue. The next time you receive change from a store, don't rush to spend your quarters. Take a moment to inspect the date. Examine the edge, look for unusual doubling, check for off-center strikes, and pay attention to anything that seems different from an ordinary coin. That quick inspection can reveal something truly special. Coin collecting is filled with stories of incredible discoveries made in the most ordinary places. Valuable coins have been found in pocket change, inherited collections, forgotten jars, and even rolls from the bank. The 1965 Washington quarter proves that history, rarity, and opportunity can all fit inside a single 25-cent coin. Keep searching, keep learning, and remember that your next handful of change could contain a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. And if you enjoy learning about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to subscribe to Hardest Penny, where every coin has a story and every story could lead to your next amazing find. Have you ever looked at the simple pocket change coin and wondered if it could be worth far more than its face value? Imagine pulling a 1997 Washington quarter with a tiny P mint mark from your wallet, only to discover that collectors have paid hundreds or even thousands of dollars for certain rare examples. Sounds unbelievable, right? But that's exactly what makes coin collecting so exciting. Every scratch, every detail, every minting mistake can completely change a coin's value. Today, we're taking a close look at the 1997p Washington quarter, a coin that millions of people have seen but very few have truly examined. By the end of this video, you'll know why this quarter matters, what makes some examples incredibly valuable, which rares to search for, and whether you might already own one without even realizing it. So before you spend your next quarter, watch until the end because one small detail could make all the difference. 1997p Washington quarter. The 1997p Washington quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and is part of the long-running Washington quarter series that began in 1932. At first glance, this coin appears completely ordinary. It features the familiar portrait of George Washington on the front, designed by John Flanagan, while the reverse displays the classic eagle standing proudly with outstretched wings. Millions of Americans use this coin every day for shopping, vending machines, parking meters, and countless other purchases. Because it was so common in circulation, most people never imagined it could become collectible. The Philadelphia Mint produced more than 595 million of those quarters in 1997. Making it one of the higher mintage issues of the decade. With such a huge production number, most circulated examples are worth only their face value of 25 cents. However, coin collecting has never been just about mintage numbers. Condition, rarity, and mint errors often play a much larger role in determining value than the number of coins originally produced. One important feature of this coin is the small P mint mark located on the obverse, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Before the 1980s, Philadelphia coins often had no mint mark, but by 1997, the P had become a standard feature. Collectors use this tiny letter to identify where the coin was produced. The coin is made from a copper core covered by layers of copper and nickel. It weighs approximately 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. Although these specifications are standard, collectors often check them carefully because unusual weight differences can indicate a rare mint error. Most 1997p quarters spent years in circulation, collecting scratches, dents, and wear. These heavily circulated coins usually have little premium value. However, coins that remained in uncirculated condition are much more desirable. An uncirculated coin still displays its original mint luster, sharp details, and clean surfaces. Even among uncirculated coins, higher grades bring dramatically higher prices. Professional grading companies such as PCGS and NGC evaluate coins on the Sheldon grading scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS-60 is considered uncirculated but may have several marks. As the grade increases, the coin becomes cleaner, sharper, and more visually appealing. The rarest examples receive grades of MS-68 or even higher, and these are the coins that attract serious collectors. In recent years, top-quality 1997p Washington quarters have sold for impressive amounts at auction. While circulated coins remain worth only face value, certified high-grade examples have sold for several $100s. In exceptional cases with nearly flawless surfaces and outstanding eye appeal, auction prices have exceeded $1,000. These sales demonstrate how condition alone can transform an ordinary quarter into a highly valuable collectible. Another reason collectors search for this coin is the possibility of mint errors. Errors occur during the manufacturing process and create coins that differ from the intended design. Since genuine mint errors are relatively scarce, they often command significant premiums. One of the most popular errors is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank is not perfectly positioned during striking. As a result, part of the design is missing while the remaining details appear shifted toward one side. The greater the off-center percentage, while still showing the date, the more valuable the coin generally becomes. A double strike is another exciting error. In this case, the coin is struck twice by the dies, creating overlapping images or distorted designs. Depending on the strength and visibility of the second strike, collectors may pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars for dramatic examples. Die cracks are also worth watching for. These occur when the minting die develops a crack after repeated use. The crack transfers onto the coin as a raised line. Small die cracks are fairly common, but large and unusual cracks can make a coin more collectible. Some collectors also search for die chips, where small pieces of the die break away, leaving raised lumps on the finished coin. Although many die chips are minor, unusual or well-positioned examples often attract interest from specialists. A clipped planchet error is another possibility. Before striking, coin blanks are punched from large metal sheets. If the punching process overlaps, part of the blank is missing, creating a curved clip. Genuine clipped planchet errors are collectible and are usually easy to identify. Broad strike errors occur when a coin is struck without the retaining collar that normally forms the rim. These coins appear wider than normal and often have flattened or incomplete edges. Such pieces are much scarcer than regular quarters. Wrong planchet errors are among the rarest possibilities. Occasionally, a quarter design is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or another type of coin. These spectacular mistakes are extremely rare and can sell for thousands of dollars when authenticated. Collectors should also examine the coin surface for unusual doubling. While machine doubling is relatively common and usually adds little value, genuine double die varieties are much scarcer and can command significant premiums. Careful examination with magnification is essential before reaching any conclusions. One mistake many beginners make is cleaning their coins. It might seem logical to polish an old coin to make it look shiny, but cleaning almost always reduces collector value. Professional graders can usually detect clean surfaces, and many buyers avoid clean coins entirely. If you believe you have a valuable 1997p quarter, it is generally best to leave it exactly as you found it. Storage is equally important. Coins kept loose in drawers often develop scratches and damage from contact with other coins. Protective holders, capsules, or archival quality flips help preserve their condition for future collectors. If you think you've discovered a rare error or an exceptionally high-grade example, consider having it authenticated and graded by a respected grading service. Certification provides confidence to buyers and often increases a coin's marketability. Even though the 1997p Washington quarter is common overall, its story reminds us why coin collecting continues to grow in popularity around the world. Every coin has a history. It may have passed through thousands of hands, traveled across countless cities, or quietly waited in a forgotten collection for decades. Among millions of ordinary examples, a handful stand out because of their condition, rarity, or unusual minting mistakes. The next time you receive change at a grocery store, gas station, or coffee shop, don't ignore the quarters in your hand. Take a closer look. Check for the P-mint mark, inspect the surfaces, and watch for unusual errors. You never know when an ordinary-looking coin could turn into an extraordinary discovery. Sometimes the most valuable treasures are hidden in ancient ruins or locked inside museum vaults. Sometimes they're sitting in a jar on a kitchen shelf, resting in a cash register, or waiting quietly inside your own pocket. That's the magic of coin collecting. It turns everyday objects into exciting possibilities. So keep searching, keep learning, and remember that the next remarkable coin could be just one quarter away.